Aloha, gang. How are y'all doing? Here we are. It's a Wednesday, and yes, the dogs know we are live now. It does not take long. The moment I started talking to Sleuth Mom backstage, they started barking. It does not take much, I swear. And I just noticed for my poor mods, my Battissimo is not working. I did not check that ahead of time. I will fix that while we're talking. While Sleuth and I are talking, I will fix that for the mods. So, anyhow, thank you guys so much for joining. We are going to kind of move away from the Maui talk for at least today. There's a lot still going on with it, and I do hope on talking about it a little bit more. Not only that, Kilauea is coming back to life right now. So for those of you who remember the Big Island and volcanoes, well, Madame Pele is back, and we're going to have a lot going on with that coming up soon. So, but I will come back to the Maui stuff later. But for right now, this case that we're going to talk about today is a case both Sleuth and I have talked about forever, and it feels like forever, and is close to both of our hearts. And things are starting to move forward with this, moving forward. But let me first bring up everyone's favorite Sleuth, Sleuth Mom. Hello, Sleuth. How you doing, my dear?
I'm doing good, Lokamai. How are you?
I am good, giving the dogs their treats to shut them up, but
Get the Cheetos out. It's
exactly.
time.
Actually, believe it or not, I do have a bag of Cheetos, so I
That's
should open
hilarious.
that up. Oh my god, well, when we get groceries here, I take anything that's mine that I don't want Mom to find, and I bring it into this room. It works. It definitely works.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're like, come on, break out the Cheetos. What are you waiting for?
We want a Cheeto party. Give us the Cheeto party. And oh gosh, I don't know how you. Every time we talk about Ariel, I mean, there's certain cases that we keep coming back to over and over. I mean, she was one of the cases that started my channel. Okay, and I know one of the first cases you were covering too, correct?
Yeah, I mean, so she wasn't the first. The first
Okay.
was obviously Angel Nicole Overstreet, Gabby Petito, because, trying to pull some people in and things like that.
Yes.
Um, Ariel, though, was the first that I covered that I was in contact with the family. And
Yes.
I had her aunties all on. I had her grandma on.
Right.
Um, I've really been I've still talked to her auntie still.
That's good.
And
That's good.
so it's very, very, very close to my heart
Yeah. You
and
became Ohana.
everything that happened. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were part of their family. And that's, I mean, yeah, no, that's it. It's the case that brought you and I together, was actually Ariel.
Yeah.
And also, and here we are, how much later, and she still has not gotten the justice that she deserves. But we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. But before we get talking about that, I know notifications are going out because I see people popping into chat now. So let's say hi to some people real quick. I do know our first person in chat today was the princess herself. Hello, la princesa Megan. How you doing, princess? And then K Crochet. And actually, K Crochet, I did something different today. Sleuth, I don't know if you've ever done this. A lot of people, you know how we hang out in each other's chats while waiting for the chat to start, live to start? I took an article. In fact, it's going to be the first article we look at here, and I shared it out for people to be able to kind of look at. And K Crochet actually went and read that article. And that way it gave us something to kind of talk about, okay, in chat until we got going. So thanks for taking the sec for that, my dear K Crochet. Let's see who else.
I just want to say, K Crochet, I'm so happy to see you back. You've been MIA for so long, and I hope that everything's okay in your life and that, you know, everything's been all right with you and stuff like that. You were missed, and I'm just very, very thankful that you came back to us.
Yeah, that's it. How long were you away, K Crochet? Because I do remember your name popping up, especially when I was over on Sleuth's channel quite often. That's why I get sometimes we all kind of we have life happen, and then we need to come back. So
well, in YouTube, it feels like it's been at least a year. I mean, you know how YouTube time flies.
Yeah. 1 week.
I know
and
it's
you've
not
gone through
really
your whole teens.
exactly.
Yes, exactly. So, Oh my gosh. But yeah, like she said here, it's the justice for Ariel. And she was reading through, updating. Whoa, welcome back, my dear. Welcome back. And I one thing Maui has brought me is a number of new people. And it's been great to get to know, especially I don't know how many people are locals versus from the mainland. But thanks and welcome back, my dear. And let's see, we got in the bushes, in the house. And I'm looking for someone else to come in too if they happen to make it. And Cooter, hello Cooter, how you doing, my dear? And I'm hitting weird buttons here. Christola is here. Christola and I've been talking about all sorts of stuff today between Ariel and also the Maui bit. There was another press conference, so I was talking about that. And yeah, so much going on. So much going on right now. Who else we got here? Dog Defender's here. Hello, dog. How you doing, my dear? And did I see, is there Megan in here? Did I miss Megan? If I missed Megan, hi, Megan. I'm trying to catch up. PJ, how are you doing, PJ? I saw your post about not feeling good. Hope you're feeling better, my dear. And sending love, hearts, healing vibes your direction, my dear. And let's see. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, LG is here. LG is here. And Cooter is like, I wasn't tardy. And you got it. Oh, and there's Chris. Chris is here. We can officially get going on this case now. Hey,
Cooter
Chris.
G. Got Cooter G in the house.
Cooter G. Hello, Cooter G. How you doing? One of the few times my southern accent does. Yeah, well, no, that's faked. But yeah. The fun of living in 5 million different places growing up. You pick up accents from everything. Yeah, LG gets the tardy slip. Definitely. LG gets the tardy slip for sure. So, oh gosh. So, okay, let's see. As people come in, we'll keep saying hi, but I wanted to start this discussion. Let's do the normal thing that we normally do because I'd like to get a good idea of who knows about cases and who doesn't. Put a 1 in chat if you have heard about Ariel. Put a 2 if you really don't know Ariel's case much. Okay, so 1 if you know her case, 2 if you're not as sure about her case. Because some people know cases and some people, well, it's like, oh, I've heard that person's name, but that's about it. And yes, Luke. And okay, we got a good little combination here. And so, okay, good. For those of you in Discord, I have started a folder for Ariel because I do think we're probably coming pretty close to court. Not just one front. We're looking at court on 2 fronts. Not only are we looking at, okay, her murderers. I'm just going to say who they are. Murderers in my mind. Okay, yes, they're alleged right now, but whatever. And I suspect that's the direction it's going to go. Hopefully we will get, okay, her justice. But there's also something else coming. Now that the state of Hawaii has actually found her as dead, they've declared her as dead. It has opened up the chance for the government, for family and those who are there for her to get justice in other ways too. Because this little girl should never have lost her life in my eyes. Chris, Ariel, we are talking Isabella Kalua, aka Ariel Sellers. And so let me pull this up, and Sleuth, just interrupt me whenever you need to interrupt me. And Red Rock is here. Hello, 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 Red Rock. Yes, Cassie, I hear you. So this story, for a lot of you who are wondering, started for most of us in 2021. Here we are, 2023, 2 years later. There was a reporting of a little girl, 6-year-old, who went missing out of Waimanalo, which is literally just right across the mountain range from where I live. And that direction, in fact. She had gone missing. Quickly, we started noticing this was not a normal kidnap type of missing. There was a lot more going on in this case. Lot of thought that, you know what, this is not a case of stranger abduction. Okay, a lot of things going on where it's like, oh no, she just left in the middle of the night and just wandered away. We started getting seeing pictures where you were seeing her going from that nice, sweet little face you're seeing up in the corner there to a girl that was a shadow of herself. I mean, you could tell that she was not eating. She wasn't being given the chance to eat, things like that. So over the
And it
time,
happened so rapidly. It happened so fast. Like, the light went out of her skin and her eyes and just her expressions, like, they sucked the life out of her very quickly.
mhm, bingo, bingo. It amazed me when I saw, and because this was COVID time, so many of the pictures were hiding what the truth was because all you saw were the eyes. But once you saw her without that, and you just saw, I mean, you could tell just looking in her eyes, there was really, the spirit wasn't there.
And I
I
think that was one
mean,
of my biggest red flags because even though it was COVID, there was pictures of her with the entire family, and she would always be the only one with a mask on. And
yeah.
so it was like, okay, was she sick in that picture? Like, what was going on? But the one photo, and I can probably send it to you so you can pull it up. The
Yeah.
one photo, you can literally see that she has a black eye, and you can just
Mm,
barely see it underneath of her mask. And it's just like, it's disturbing. And yes, Dog Defender, it was summertime too. And
yeah.
she became yeah,
Emaciated.
emaciated
Yeah.
and gray. I couldn't,
Exactly. And it
my
is,
brain was
and you're
like, don't
right.
read that word. So
Oh, yes. It's like, okay, how can I get through this without making that word? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and it was. You would see these things with her, and here's a time that she should have been happy. She had just been adopted, okay, within like a year or so. I mean, these should be the times that a child is so happy. They've been adopted, they got a new family, all these things. And instead, everything was turning the opposite direction with her. This is so weird. You guys don't know what's going on. My mouse keeps hitting the right button. It's so weird. So I'm really hoping I don't have something weird happen here. But out of nowhere, when you hit the right button on your mouse and you get that little menu pop up, it keeps popping up on its own. So my computer is haunted right now. So, but yeah, no, we started seeing these things, and people were talking all sorts of stuff about, for example, school. She had been in school, and all of a sudden she was pulled out of school. Okay, and that was one of those things where, like, why are why why is this happening? Is anyone checking in on her? Is there something new going on with her case? And I think fairly quickly there were other family members who were, okay, adopted at the same time or lived in the same house, siblings. And like in the West case, the moment they were pulled away and they started seeing what security could be like for them, her her older sister became her savior in a way. Her older sister was the hero of this. Her older sister told the police what happened and all. So we've got, let me see. Oh, you are Chris. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So this article here, I'm just going to go through this quickly. As many of you guys know, we've been trying to get this case to be seen, okay, heard for quite a while. And in true Hawaii style, it keeps getting pushed out further and further and further. So let me see what we got here. I got the wrong page open. This is so weird. My computer's acting up. I'm going to keep talking while I wait for certain things to pop up on my computer. And I need a new computer, gang. Something is up with my computer. I don't know what it is, but something is up.
no bueno. I think that
Oh,
that's one of
okay,
the
there.
things though with this case that really um got me too was because everyone came together in this community. Like Waimanalo was there and all were searching and all were looking for
Yep.
her and and then her people who were supposed to be her adoptive parents who were supposed to love her, who were supposed to care, were literally out having cookouts and stuff while search
Mhm.
parties were walking around, and not so that they could feed the searchers.
Nope. Nope.
and then they went from cooperating to not cooperating, and it was horrible. It was really horrible.
Yeah. More information came out, and you can see here. I mean, was actually the fence that is out now. The house that they lived in at the time has been sold to someone else. So I don't share out addresses or anything like that anymore. But the community still goes up, updates the fence, make sure the fence is there. They've got all the purple stuff there for Ariel
And they're
because
constantly
Ariel is
cleaning
still
it
missing.
out. Mhm.
Yes, exactly. And Ariel's still missing. We know she's gone, and but she's still missing, and we need to bring her home, and that's still out there. Okay, we need to find out whatever that is, and it might be like Peter Boyd, where we find out exactly where. We may never get her back, but we might. Maybe someday someone will speak up and let us know where they put her to begin with. So, um, oh, so weird. You guys can't see when that menu pops up. So weird. So, but anyhow, so what they were saying with this is that we've been going back and forth with court dates. Every time it's like, oh, we need more time. We need more time. We were supposed to have another court date coming up, and there was Isabella Kalua, who is the adoptive mother for Ariel, had some sort of
Lehua.
emergency. Lehua. Sorry. What did I say?
Isabella Kalua was her. You said her
Oh my God, I said
adopted one.
Isabella. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, Lehua is the adopted mother. She, I was looking at Isabella's name here, and which I will not call her, by the way. But anyhow, there was an emergency for the lawyer, and they came together, and they're like, we need a little bit more time because of this emergency. The good news is, though, for the first time, instead of putting this out like 6 months or something, they only put it out a couple weeks. So we are now looking at, okay, as you can see here, there's going to be an off the record status conference on the 25th. So today is the 16th. So we're talking what? Late next week. I don't want to screw up my computer by making it think right now. So the 25th is
9 days from now.
9 days.
So that
So
would
not this Friday, the following Friday.
Mhm.
So, and that will be a private one. And then after that, we will hopefully be able to start getting into the actual trial. Because I have a funny feeling they're at the point where the court system is like, okay, we need to move forward on this. I don't know if maybe part of the reason why they kept allowing it to go further. I don't know. Actually, what's your thought on this, Sleuth? Do you think they may have been being more liberal with the idea of letting it go longer because they were waiting for the actual, okay, pronouncement of her being gone?
I do, because think about it. That's going to help the prosecution, in my
Big
opinion.
time. Big,
Chris,
big
I'm not
time.
sure what you're referring to, but Ariel Sellers is also known as Isabella Kalua. Isabella Kalua was the name that she went by in most of the media sites. Most of us refuse to call her that, though, because that was the name that the adoptive monsters changed her to. But she was murdered by her adoptive monsters, Lehua and Isaac Kalua. They are in jail. They are awaiting court so that they can be found guilty for their crimes. And the sister is a witness in that case. She actually was forced to carry her sister's dead body and into the bedroom. And so I just want to make sure that you're on the right case, because
The
there's
right
definitely no
case.
conspiracy theory involved in this one, especially
Yeah.
with the fact that the sister is a witness. I definitely would not want to
Yeah, the
imply that
idea that,
she's lying.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There is a lot of thoughts that people had that were things being, while she was still with us, were people kind of covering and things like that. And, I think that happens in a lot of cases where people run into that. I may
hmm
have to pull up some of these sites separately because my whole screen is freezing up. So
Yeah,
let
her
me do
sister is
this.
still dealing with, obviously. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but it's going to be a long process for her.
It is definitely going to be a long process. By the way, my dear, I'm going to be bringing all those things. I just had to close out my whole windows
You're
and
fine.
because everything froze. So, but you and I know how to talk about this.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, there's a lot of one of the things that was popping up during this, and this was something I kind of had to deal with also, is Were people hiding it because of who they knew? The old boy network in Hawaii is real. It truly
Mhm.
is real. And I think that was something a lot of people were holding on to. Okay, this idea that people were not people are people covering for people, things like that.
I
And
will say that
yeah.
sorry,
Mhm.
whenever
No,
I
go for it.
was, because obviously I was running one of the bigger
Mhm.
Facebook groups for this whenever it was happening. Um, it's I think I did make that group private though, so that people would stop coming to join it. But so one of the things that was going on though was people who were friends with Sunny and Lehua after they were arrested. Once
Mhm.
there were certain people who were standing up for them in the beginning because they just didn't think that it was possible. They were thinking along the lines of she was kidnapped by her mom, or
Right.
that she got out and got hurt somehow, something along those lines. There were people who were defending Lehua and Sunny,
Yeah.
and I had several that would come into my inbox, and the one has always stuck out to me because she had said that she had approached Lehua about
Mhm.
Ariel's appearance, and
Right.
about she had said that there was cuts on her arm at the time, and she thought something was happening. She didn't know what was
Right.
going on, but Lehua said that she was self-harming and that
Oh
would
God.
cut herself, that she would pull her own hair out and things like that, that she had a disorder. I can't remember what that's called, where you pull your hair out and you eat
Like
it.
yeah, trick. Oh God. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
So
Yes.
so she had said that, and that the Ariel was refusing to eat food, and that she would eat her own hair and things like that, and that's why they had to keep cutting her hair so short, because of the
Right.
fact that they didn't want her to eat it, and that's why she had bald spots, that's why she was losing weight, and they were blaming it all on this past trauma that she had had,
Right.
allegedly, in her biological family, that has never been confirmed
Mhm.
or denied, really, because there are some allegations, so I'm not going to pretend that there's
Right.
not, but
Right.
not what I was always told was that they were never abused, that they were
Right.
always happy living with their grandma Barb. And
Right.
so once she was happy, healthy looking even, and then next thing you know, they go to this home and she obviously quickly deteriorated. And so to blame it on past trauma, allegedly, it just never made sense to me. But she said that she
Well,
didn't question Lehua because Lehua and
why
Sonny
would you?
were pastors. He was a pastor.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so she just took her word for it. She thought that she was an amazing person for taking in these four children that,
Mhm.
came from this,
Or
drug
rough
home and things
life.
like
Yeah.
that. And so she just believed her. And it's just sad, and she regrets it, she regrets that she
Mhm.
didn't push the conversation more. She beats
Right.
herself up daily that she didn't, but then at the same time, like, if you were in that same
Well
position
done.
and you had
Right.
somebody who was in a position of trust and authority telling you, "Well,
Yep.
no, this is because of this," would you
Right.
take their word for it, or would you question it?
And I think that's where we're going to actually, with some of what we're going to see today as we go through talking this, normal, everyday Joe Blow like us who would see something like that, that's what we would think. I would think, oh, okay, she's going through all this. She's probably getting therapy on the side and stuff like that. Because I'm not open to that private information. And I trust that this is okay, so a family that okay, like you said, okay, they've got faith based background, things like that. But people who should have been following up on her care, okay, people within agencies who should have been doing that. If this girl has that much of issues, where was and there's some diagnoses that we're going to touch on today that I'm like, why the hell wasn't she in aftercare for those things? Because these types of diagnoses need years of therapy to get over.
Right. And that's
And
one
she
of the
was not.
things that we found out
Mhm.
as well. And that worker, I believe, was terminated because she was friends with Lehua,
Hmm. Yep.
Ariel's caseworker.
Yes.
And so a lot of things did get brushed under the rug, and they
Yep.
were able to be placed there and things like that because of this friendship that happened.
Right.
Because Lehua had a drug charge in her past, and
Yep.
Sunny had terroristic threats and a felony assault charge.
Yep.
And so
Bingo.
they never, never should have been able to adopt to begin with, let
Yeah.
alone,
They shouldn't. Yeah,
four
they
kids.
shouldn't. Exactly. And so I'm not going to go through this. As you can see, it's 62 pages. But the reason why I wanted to bring you guys up to date on this part is this is what's allowing us to take the next step. Yes. Okay. The Kaluas are up on attempted murder charges. That we've known about. However, now we've got a number of new lawsuits that are coming up. And the reason why these lawsuits have come up is because of what you're seeing here. The state of Hawaii was finally able to come together and say, yes, Ariel is no longer with us. There is enough information here in this, this document to say she is gone. She has been either killed, died on her own, whatever you run into problems on exact wording, but as they're saying, it's believed that she died on or around August 18th, 2021, at the age of 6. Okay. Let me pull over here to my banners real quickly. She was reported missing on September 13th. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind. Now, we could go through this whole thing and it's going to come up with all the reasons why they were able to say we're able to get it down to this exact date, with when she was seen by people, all sorts of different things, talking to her big sister, stuff like that. So once they were able to come out and say that this little girl is a little angel now, okay, that she is no longer with us, it opened up the door for the people who represent Ariel, okay, to be able to say, you know what, people not following up on things led to her death, unlawful death. And that's where we're going to go at this point because the information has come out with that. So let me do this real quickly. And this just amazes me. August, almost 3 weeks that she was gone, and family, her sister and all, could not say anything. I mean, these poor siblings and the fear they had to live through during this time. Tual asked, how did they keep her sister quiet for that month? I'm new to this story, but by gosh, what did they do to her? This is something we see quite often with a lot of, like the West Boys, it happened in their case too. There's on one level, some level of, love for the person who's caring for them in some cases. I don't know how much that happened here, but there's also the fear. There's fear. What would happen if they could do this to this person? What could they do to us? We're
Right.
also going to
Well,
find out. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Go
was
for it.
gonna say, and the other part is it was COVID. And so
Yep.
it was very, very easy to just keep the children home and not take them anywhere or not do anything. I know Hawaii had some of the stricter COVID rules and things like that
Big time.
at this time. And so even how they were able to get rid of her remains and have time to clean up and do all of those things, after they killed her, he took 2 weeks off work so that he could he said that he had COVID, and they just accepted it, and he got 2
Right.
weeks off work.
Yep. And that's exactly what started happening. We had this huge issue where everyone was so scared of COVID at the time that you were able to get away with anything. People were cutting out of classes, cutting out of, I'm having to pull up all my windows again. This is driving me freaking crazy.
It's okay. If you
And
need screen share, I can.
we may
If
do,
that might be easier.
it might, I'm pulling up the civil beat document next. If it comes up pretty quickly for me, we'll be good. If not, we may have to. I only
Hi,
have 2 more things to
Mallory.
pull. Hey, Mallory's here. How you doing, my dear? And let me get, so one of the things that we're starting to see right now is Hawaii has a really good grassroots journalism. okay, system in place. We've got Civil Beat. We've got all these groups that are very, very good at showing full stories. Okay, and telling people stories. And yeah, this is driving me crazy. I may have to have you do it because now I can't even bring StreamYard's window up. This is driving me
Okay.
crazy. But I
I'll
can't
get
even
it.
get to StreamYard to let you show. That's the problem now. So,
Uh-oh.
there. Now it's letting me
Okay.
do things. No, it's not letting me. Let me close out the other windows. Something is going on with my windows nowadays. Okay, there. Yeah, let's have you do that one real quick, and I will see what I can do for the future. This is so weird. And so I was looking at Civil Beat for the next one.
Okay.
I know, Christola, with the words and all, we're always, this is weird. Even my right, it's still pulling up my right mouse button. It's so weird.
Is your mouse, like, wired? Like, unplug it and plug it back in? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
I'm
did the
going to do
dog
that.
chew on it again?
Yeah, exactly. Knowing my life, that's exactly what happened. So I am going to pull this. Oh, well, you guys just lost my
Um,
screen
the
real
other
quick.
thing is that I wanted to say too, though, it also took her sister quite a time to come out and speak after Ariel was reported missing because every time that she would go talk to the police, her parents never wanted her parents, I use that loosely quoted,
Very
the
loosely.
adoptive monsters never wanted her interviewed by herself. And so
Mm-hmm.
either one of them went in, they had a lawyer that would go in, or they would have her uncle. And I'm talking about this guy literally like looks like the rock, not to insult the rock or anything, but muscular and like big and intimidating, and I'm not saying that he threatened her or anything like that, but just the
Right.
intimidation, knowing that there was somebody in there with her that could
Yep.
report back to them that she spoke. It just.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly, exactly. You know what? I'm going to ask you to read that one because I can't pull it up, and I'm going to try to pull the next one up and see if I can pull
Okay.
that one up.
So this one says state failed to heed the warnings of the Waimanalo girls abuse lawsuit alleges. And so it says the estate of a 6-year-old Waimanalo girl who died from alleged abuse in perhaps the most notorious child welfare case in recent Hawaiian history is suing her adoptive parents and the state for gross negligence. The civil lawsuit claims that both the Department of Human Services and Catholic Charities Hawaii, a nonprofit that reviews foster home and adoption placements, failed to investigate and intervene in child abuse allegations that caused Isabella Kalua's wrongful death. Her adoptive parents, Isaac and Isaac is who we are referring to whenever we say Sonny, by the way. Everybody calls him Sonny, and Lehua have been charged with murder. They are alleged to have kept Isabella, or Ariel, in a dog cage to keep her from seeking food at night because they didn't feed her enough and covering her mouth with duct tape.
Sorry.
DHS and Catholic Charities Hawaii placed Ariel and her siblings with the Kaluas as foster children despite their criminal backgrounds, which include assault and drug history. That's always okay, I just want to say that's always been completely mind-blowing to me to take children from a home that had drugs and say that they were not fit to raise their children and they couldn't handle it because they were on drugs, and then to put them in a home with somebody who had the same type of drug history.
Mm-hmm.
That never made sense.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. No, I agree. I agree. Sorry.
While multiple reports of abuse were provided to DHS, both the department and Catholic Charities Hawaii endorsed the Kalua's effort to adopt the children that they had been fostering. The suit alleges that in 2019, DHS got eyewitness reports that Isabella was being beaten and starved by Lehua. She was only in their home for 6 weeks, you guys. 6 weeks. Whenever the
And she
first person
refused.
called 911, they didn't even call DHS. They called 911 to say that they had seen her being beaten and that she was being starved by Lehua. And the police responded by submitting it to DHS, and the case was closed within 24 hours. If that
Yep.
doesn't outrage you, I don't know what will.
Yeah, exactly. And she did. She did, Cooter, exactly. She declined so fast in this amount of time. And people were yelling about it. okay, asking for people to come in and help, and it
Well,
didn't
and
happen.
so a little bit of more of the backstory. So I
Mhm.
know, based off of things that I've been told, that the initial call came from her mom because mom was still getting to see her.
Okay,
And
got
so
it.
she was who called and reported this allegedly. And
Yeah.
the caseworker basically made it more and more difficult for her to see
Jeez.
Ariel going forward. And so whenever you don't follow your care plans with your children,
Right.
that's how you lose the ability to get custody back of them. And so she gave up trying to fight. She gave up her drug
Oh,
rehabilitation. She gave up everything because they stopped allowing her the opportunity to see the kids
her
anyways.
children.
They made every step more difficult for her, and they would make excuses why they couldn't come and all of these different things. And it single-handedly resulted in her losing her ability to get the kids back,
Parent
period.
and also, yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And
And
hello,
and it was
Laura.
all it was
Yeah,
all freaking, in my opinion, this worker needs charges,
that's
in my
yeah.
opinion.
No, I agree. And see, that's the thing. There's reasons why you have conflicts of interest and stuff.
Mhm,
There's a reason why a doctor does not provide services for someone they love. Okay, you can't think, okay, in a very logical, it's going to get you. And this little girl ended up losing her life basically because of it, in my
right.
eyes, plain and simple.
And I mean,
So,
listen, I'm not going to say I know that her mom is still currently struggling
yes.
with drugs. And I know there, that that is something and I'm not going to say that maybe she
Right,
would have still lost her ability to get them, right? Maybe
right.
that's a thing.
It's
But 6
possible.
weeks in, she still cared about her kids enough to say, "Hey, they're being abused. This is
Yeah,
wrong. Like you took them and they're being abused." There was no reason these children should not have stayed with either grandma or went to one of the aunties.
exactly.
0
There were
reason.
family who wanted them. That's one of the questions people will ask. Were there people who wanted? Yes, there were people who wanted them. And
Mhm.
yes, Cooter. And now her sister is scarred for life. Her
Yep.
siblings. Okay, we're going to get into that on the next document.
Yep. Sorry. I
Yeah, go for it. Sorry, no, no, no.
this
Go for it.
case seriously, you guys, I'm sorry because it triggers me to no end because
Big
it's
time.
just it infuriates me. So it says a month later. So a month after eyewitnesses called in and said that she was being beaten and starved. Keep that in mind. So 6 weeks in, that happened. 4 weeks later, a doctor noticed bruises on the girl's abdomen, hip,
Jeez.
mid back, thighs, which Lehua explained as being self inflicted. This is
God.
10 weeks into these children being there. They are not adopted at this point. They are still in foster care. They still have a grandma who wants them. They still have
Right.
aunties that had never been contacted. There was so many places these kids could have gone. Sorry,
Exactly.
gonna keep pushing that because
Yeah.
it's like it's not okay. So Lehua explained them as being self-inflicted. A couple of months after that, the Kaluas failed for 2 weeks to report Isabella's swollen fingers, which Lehua explained variously as the result of them being slammed in a door or being stepped on by one of her siblings. Still another injury to her collarbone the following month. Okay, we're still in the same year, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
First year there before she was adopted while she's still in foster care. This was attributed to by Lehua to falling off the monkey bars. The doctor alerted a state worker about their concerns. The suit alleges that Lehua explained a leg fracture, broken fingers, a collarbone, and a leg fracture after abuse was reported 6 weeks in. But, no red flags here,
Red
right, guys?
flags. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So that was in early 2020 as a result of her falling off a trampoline, which get this, I looked this up whenever that first was told
Mhm.
to me. In Hawaii, if you are a child who is in foster care, they're not allowed to jump on trampolines because it's a dangerous activity. And so they're not allowed to have the kids doing any type of dangerous activities.
Oh
And
my
so that could
God.
have been a reason to remove them anyways. So, anyways,
Oh
let me
my
keep going.
God.
Sorry. This is why you shouldn't have me read
I didn't
things.
know that one. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, trust me. Yeah, when we get to the next one, we're barely going to get like 2 minutes without us blowing our. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay, so despite all of this, February of 2020, DHS recommended to family court judge that the Kaluas be allowed to adopt Isabella and her siblings, a move that was supported by Catholic Charities. The Department of Human Services and Catholic Charities did not respond to requests for comment. The lawsuit was filed by three firms, and it names them all.
Yeah.
And then, so it says the suit says that the Honolulu Police Department used video surveillance system to determine that Isabella was last seen in the Kalua house on August 18th of 2020, or sorry, 2021, 1 month before she was reported missing by the Kaluas. When Isaac Kalua, aka Sonny, called in sick with COVID-19, the suit alleges, and he was actually taking off time off work to dispose of her body. The suit states, get this, you guys, that Isabella's siblings were also sexually abused by the Kaluas and possibly others. This was something, guys, that we had said. We had said
Yeah.
this while she was
Yep.
missing before
Yep.
they arrested them. There was rumors that
Yep.
there was men going in and out of the
In
home
the house.
to abuse these children.
It's so frustrating because so many things that were rumors that people really felt down deep is coming out now. And
Her
we're not saying,
sister,
yeah, yeah,
there's a
sorry.
picture of Ariel standing with her broken leg. And in it, you can tell where her sister had what it looks like are handcuff marks or tape
Yeah.
marks, which they use tape a lot.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me on her ankles. And it
Hmm.
was pointed out. It was pointed out by someone, and people were like, no, no,
Oops.
that
Yep.
didn't happen.
No
Yeah,
one
it sure
wanted to
as heck
see
did.
these things. Yeah. And that's the thing. No one wants to see these things. So it's easy to say, oh, no, 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 it didn't happen. And then the truth comes out later. And guys, we're going to be talking about these agencies right now, DHS, Catholic Charities, things like that. I can tell you, Catholic Charities on this island does some amazing freaking work. I mean, really good work. But you know
But
what?
this
There's
wasn't it.
also some big failures here, too. And that's exactly. And we got to accept that there's failures here and we need to get them freaking fixed. Sorry. Okay.
And
Go on. Sorry.
it's not the whole charities itself.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
it's
what happens is, so whenever your auntie knows your auntie knows your auntie knows your auntie, and that's who's in
that's
charge
it.
of your case, and then they overlook something because they don't want to offend the family, that's where you end up in this situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Being
And
friends of friends of
unfortunately,
friends in a
yeah,
small island where everyone's related. The whole
everyone
island's
knows
40 miles.
everyone. Yeah, everyone knows it may be a big island with population, but everyone knows someone who knows someone else. When I walk around this island and I bring up Ariel, I've literally brought up Ariel in the plastic surgeon's office that looked at my hand. And they're like, oh, yeah, 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 I remember that case. My auntie knew, and they're going through this. And I'm like, yeah, this is the problem. Okay. And I'll be honest, this is something that worries me with trial coming up. Okay. I mean, I know they'll get people who don't know about the case. It's going to happen. It's been 2 years. But it's frustrating because it is a case where people, people, so you end up forgetting, oh, yeah, yeah, you know what? That's just one time something happened. I'll talk with them privately and tell them, you better not. If you keep doing this, I'm going to have to do something about it,
Hmm.
and you never do anything about it. Yeah, you got it.
Right.
Butterfly. Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
No, you're okay. So it says last month, a probate court judge declared Isabella Ariel deceased, clearing the path for her estate and her siblings to sue for damages. The court previously appointed Nicole Cummings as legal representative for Isabella and her family. Isabella, born Ariel Sellers, this is why we all call her Ariel, you guys, because why should these monsters get to choose her name? And I know that that's one of the things that the family wants to fight for
Yeah,
her name back.
yeah,
She
yeah.
was first reported missing by her adoptive parents on September 13th of 2021. The pair was arrested in connection with her disappearance 2 months later. And it took 2 months because it took a while to get Big
Mm-hmm.
Sis to be comfortable to talk, to know
Exactly.
she
And I
wasn't
don't
going to
blame
have
them.
something else bad happen to her.
Exactly. How does she know she's not going to be put back into that same house? She needed to get to this comfort level where she was okay. So, yeah, you got it. Oh, mods, FYI. Oh, did I just delete that or was that you?
No, that was me. Sorry.
Okay, good, good.
At the
Mods,
end of the
no
article.
space. FYI, LG, thank you for trying to share the Maui thing. No space in between the exclamation point
I think
and all.
Batissimo's still off, or no? Is he working now?
Actually, I got
Oh,
it fixed. While you were
okay.
talking, I was able to fix it. I was like, yay, I
Mhm.
was able to fix it. So, okay. So now taking from there, what I want to do is our other really good grassroots news group. And, amazing the stuff that's coming out. But they've actually gotten, and I will be posting all this over on Discord in the folder if people want to read this stuff themselves later and all. But this is actually what came out. Okay, we all finally, it started coming together today. Okay, and letting us know that this is what the lawsuit, okay, is going to look like. And it's already starting to be heard by people. So here, the parties. So plaintiff Nicole Cummings is, and at all times relevant, was a resident of Honolulu and is the personal representative for Isabella. They're saying Isabella Kalua. Anytime you see sibling one or estate, we are talking Ariel. Okay, so sibling one or estate. I'm not going to go through every little bit of this, but I'm going to go through the majority of it. So we're actually talking about 5 siblings. Okay, number 1 being Ariel. The other ones you've got birth years here. And they're collectively going to be the children anytime you hear the word children. The children are biological sisters, are each the subject of a protective proceeding in the family court and at all times relevant resided in Honolulu. The defendant is Catholic Charities, in this case, Catholic Charities, which is a Hawaii corporation, is here in Hawaii. We also have the state of Hawaii mentioned here and DHS, the Department of Human Services, okay, which prepare safe family home reports, which reports were required to periodically be submitted for the children. Now, what are we talking about here? Negligence. In 2018, and I'm going to keep the dates here because it's important for you guys, because some of this stuff I kept saying, wait, did they know this before or did they know this after? Okay, it was important to me as I was reading through, so I'm going to keep these dates up on the screen. In 2018, sibling number 4 was placed into foster care with the Kaluas by DHS. In 2019, a year later, okay, number 1 and number 2, so Ariel and her sister were placed into foster care at the Kaluas. The next following year, sibling number 5 was placed into foster care by DHS.
And to give some clarity for
Mm-hmm.
that, sorry.
Yes,
So
no.
sibling 4, I think it was either sibling 4 or sibling 5. I think it was sibling 4 though that was believed to have been there was a situation where Ariel's mom had actually said about giving the Kaluas the sibling 4. And the reason was because there was suspicion that sibling 4 could have been related to the Kaluas via one of the uncles. And that was later proven not to be true. But so sibling 4 was put there by the
Started.
request of the family. And so that's what started this snowball of all of the children being
Right,
there. Now,
right.
I will say that sibling 4 probably would not have been able to be placed there if it wasn't a suspected family member, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so I'm
And that's what
wondering if
opened it.
DHS will be able to say, well, hey, this is what
It
they
gave
told
them
us.
the okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Exactly. Gave them the okay.
Not
Well,
to
you
like
guys
sit
told
there
us
and
to put her
side
there.
with
Yeah.
DHS, but
No, and
just to
that is true. When someone has said, okay, please, I want my child to be in this household because, okay, I'm sure DHS probably did not look at them as carefully as they should have still been looking at them because
Mhm.
it was parent request. And
Right.
all, but at some point, you need to be looking at things and all. So, sibling number 3. So we got 1, 2, 4, and 5 there. Sibling number 3 was placed into foster care, but with another family and was never with the Kaluas. And so the Kaluas had no experience parenting, as we discussed earlier, as they never had children of their own. Isaac Kalua had a criminal history of terroristic threatening and assault, which was known to DHS. Defendant Lehua Kalua, okay, had a drug and criminal history involving methamphetamine addiction, which was known to defendant which is state of Hawaii and DHS. Further, the Kaluas had substantial financial debt. Despite these known facts, state of Hawaii DHS placed 4 of the children in foster care with the Kalua defendants. The decision to place 4 of those children in foster care with the Kaluas and continue foster care arrangement with the Kaluas was endorsed and recommended by Catholic Charities Hawaii. Okay, CCH.
And I mean, we're talking,
Yeah.
she was sued by like, I want to say it was like 9 credit cards through this time period. Like she
And
was really
yeah,
heavy in debt.
yep. And that's where you get into the concerns. If there was SA
Cash for
involved in these
kids.
things or
Hmm.
possible trafficking or things like that going on, yeah, these things become very important at that point. Not saying all that's alleged right now. And but we're going to see more and more. And at some point, whether it's alleged becomes a different issue. Um, During the time that sibling 1, 2, 4, and 5 were in the care of the Kalua defendants, State of Hawaii and DHS had complete access to the medical records of the children. All they had to do was look at the medical records and they could have seen anything that we're going to talk about. Upon information and belief, State of Hawaii, DHS also provided access to treatment records and other pertinent records relating to the children to Catholic Charities for the purpose of preparing safe family home reports, which would then satisfy any obligations with DHS and all. On July 3rd, 2019, DHS received a report from an eyewitness that sibling 1, so this is the one that we were talking about that there was question whether or not they were related, was seen being beaten by Lehua Kalua and was being starved. So this is 2019, 2 years before Ariel loses her life. Without doing any significant investigation, DHS found that the allegations were not confirmed and no actions were taken to ensure that sibling 1 was safe and receiving proper nourishment from the defendants. Now, in my eyes, the fact that that's coming up then and they're still putting in, more foster children, there's reason to be researching this.
Right.
On August 5th, 2019, again, during a wellness exam at Waimanalo Health Center, a local physician observed that the same child had bruises on her abdomen, right hip, right mid back, and both thighs. Defendant Lehua Kalua informed the physicians that these bruises were self-inflicted. Remember, she later on says the same thing about Ariel, that Ariel's issues were self-inflicted.
But like, how do
And
you
yeah.
self-inflict? No, so sibling 1 is Ariel.
Oh,
Sibling
wait,
1 is
Ariel.
Ariel.
You're right. Sorry, you're right. Ariel. Yeah, sorry. My mind's going everywhere.
But how do you
How do
self-inflict
you do
like
it?
bruises on your mid back and stuff like that? I
Yes.
mean, come on.
I mean, come on, look at these things. And I'll be honest, this is where things get frustrating for those in healthcare because you're reporting these things and nothing's happening. And especially in Waimanalo, I guarantee you, sometimes these kids did come back. And you're like, why? Why? It remains unknown and unexplained how sibling 1 could have even inflicted these by punching her own mid back and creating a bruise. On October 14th, sibling 1, so Ariel again, had swollen hands and was taken to Waimanalo Health Center, where she was diagnosed with fractures on her right pinky and left ring finger. Initially, Lehua attributed the fractures to Ariel slamming them in a door, but later claimed that the fractures were a result of being stepped on by sibling 2. So, story changing. The age of the fractures on an x-ray was approximately 2 weeks, so the fractures went unreported for them for a significant time period. This girl had 2 broken fingers for 2 weeks before they went in to go in.
Not 1, 2.
On different
2.
hands.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Which gets me. Okay, yeah. You slam your hand into something, they're going to be on the same hand. Two different, no, no. Um, on November 8th, 2019. So here, we're right now talking July 3rd through November 8th. Okay. Sibling one was taken to Shriners Hospital, now in Honolulu itself, for an injury to her collarbone. She was diagnosed with a traumatic angulated right mid-shaft clavicle fracture. Defendant Lehua Kalua told the physician that injury was from falling off of monkey bars at a nearby playground. Again, x-rays indicated the collarbone fracture was 7 to 14 days old, so it had not been reported in a timely fashion again. The Shriner physicians also noticed the fractures to sibling one's fingers and the delayed reporting of those fractures as well. The physician told a social worker of their concerns for her safety, who then indicated that she would call Ariel's protective service caseworker to discuss the injuries and the physician's concerns.
And so I think this is when, and I don't know if they addressed this, but I think this is when they had taken Ariel out of
I think you're right.
the Kalua's home at
Right.
this point, and they put her back with her grandma Barb. Again, why wasn't she just with her grandma Barb to begin with? If
Yeah.
she was safe enough to be put back into that home
In an emergency.
while
Yeah.
they were doing an investigation. It's just infuriating. And so then the investigation was quote unquote unfounded and they put the kids back. So,
It's
sorry. I
yeah,
can't.
no, it's there's no reason why. If yeah, like you said, if you're going to put her in there with her grandmother, which is family, blood ohana, and yet she's not okay for the rest of the time. Why? So, defendant state of Hawaii and DHS were duly notified of the medical injury, so the social worker followed up. There's your proof that the social worker did follow up. However, state of Hawaii and DHS apparently accepted the Kalua's explanation that the injuries were caused by others or were self-inflicted. Okay, this growing list of injuries, 3 different bone fractures, 2 different hands, 1 clavicle. Ugh. Now, this is the one that's really starting to get me pissed off, and I'm going to warn you guys ahead of time, guys, this trigger warning. The medical records from November 8th, 2019, medical records, not social services, medical records, also indicate that sibling 1 and sibling 2 likely had been SA'd. Other records reference that Ariel was suffering from mental health disorders, including multiple personality disorder, more commonly known as dissociative identity disorder, which is invariably caused by severe childhood trauma or abuse. This is what pisses me off right now. This is coming from medical records. This is not coming from DHS or anything. This is medical records. Where the hell, 2019? She did not
5
lose her
months.
life till 2021 is when she lost her life. Where are all of the mental health things? Anyone who has ever studied DID knows that is years of treatment. First of all, the diagnosis. How are they diagnosing this on top of it? You don't just have your primary care physician diagnose DID. So I would love to know what's going on behind that.
Well,
And then
and it's infuriating to think of the fact that in 5 freaking months, they traumatized this child to the point where she dissociates now.
yep,
She never had anything like that with her family. What the heck were they doing to her in this 5 months? That's
yep,
it. Already
yep.
sexually abusing them. They already they gave her DID? Like,
That
how
is,
traumatic was that
yeah,
situation?
that type of break going on at that time. Okay, knowing all this stuff is going on. I mean, where the hell? What? I can't help but think, okay, even if they want to say the DID came from earlier, which give me a break, but earlier and all the other stuff came earlier, the fact that she was diagnosed DID, if she had been getting therapy during that time, you know what? Someone may have found out what was going on and actually stopped this whole thing from going. further and further, and a little girl losing her life, and other children, other little girls being hurt. Okay, an older sister having to live through the thought of knowing that that her little sister had to go through that, who literally had to get up out of bed that night to go in there and check on her little sister and help carry her back to a bed. Ah, hey, B Tim, how you doing, my dear? This pisses me off to no extent at this
Yeah.
point.
Hi, beat him.
On
Sorry. It's
January
gonna get worse.
17th, no, it
Sorry,
does,
guys.
and
I'm
it
just
gets
giving
worse
you
and
guys
worse,
a
gang.
heads up
So,
because it is gonna get worse.
trigger warning, guys, please take care of yourselves. If this starts to get too much, you can always come back and visit if you need to, or just say, this is too much for me. I get it. On January 17th, 2020, sibling one, Ariel, was taken to Castle Medical Center now, third location health center, with complaints of leg pain. X-rays showed fractures to the right fibula and right tibia. So, two broken bones on her right leg. Lehua claims now that this was caused by her falling off of the trampoline. That trampoline that Sleuth just told you they were not supposed to be jumping on because it's too dangerous of something, according to
For
Human
foster kids.
Services.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And all. So, the fact that the Kaluas took Ariel to 3 different medical providers for her 3 separate incidents of fracture injuries is highly suspicious of child abuse. Highly. Yeah, totally. The fact that, okay, on February 24th now, so now we're, 5 weeks later, DHS received a phone call from Ariel's school teacher, who reported that Ariel had shown up at school wearing a long sleeve t-shirt under her school uniform. The
This is one of
teacher
the
made,
people who reached out to me in this case.
oh, did
This
she?
teacher was so upset. So
I
upset.
don't blame her. I don't blame her. She tried to
She
help.
tried. She,
Yeah.
honest to God, tried. She reported it multiple
God.
times. She had talked to her supervisors. She had talked to other people in the school. She talked to DHS. And then next thing you know, the kids were pulled out. Sorry.
Oh
Anyways,
God.
continue.
No. And this reminds you of, I noticed someone made a comment about Gabrielle
Mm-hmm.
Fernandez. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the teacher, okay, so she had a long sleeve t-shirt underneath her school uniform. The teacher made her take it off because it was hot. After school, Ariel went to the parking area to catch her ride home, but immediately returned to the classroom, quote, shaking, trembling, crying hysterically, asking for the long sleeve t-shirt. The teacher also remarked that Ariel would also, quote, shut down when asked about her home environment. The DHS worker who logged the phone call noted, quote, follow up. Social worker will follow up with RCG, the resource caregiver, the Kaluas, at next home visit to discuss concerns. First of all, I'm sorry. There shouldn't be a next, whenever we have the next one scheduled. To me, that should be an emergency visit. Okay, that's just my thought, though, on this whole thing. If a kid is seriously having that type of reaction, yeah. Okay,
The
yeah,
next
no,
day,
Christola, take care of yourself, Christola. No worries, my
sorry.
dear.
Yeah.
No worries. Go for it, Sleuth.
No, I was going to say, if you want me to read for a little bit, I can.
Yeah.
But the next day, literally, is what we're going into now. So they get the call from this school teacher. The next day, they go to court and recommend that she's adopted.
You can't make this shit up. You literally
And
cannot.
this is the court hearing that we have Ariel walking into on camera. Have you seen that video? Dragging her
A
leg
long
behind
time.
her because it's freaking
Yeah,
broke.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry. Do you
No,
want me to
no.
go ahead and read for a little bit, or
Yeah, go for a
you
little bit.
okay?
Go for it.
Okay.
Either way, I'm okay. I'm not triggered. I'm just pissed.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know.
Yes, go for it.
So,
You can pull it.
despite the foregoing clear indicators of ongoing child abuse, DHS representatives were in family court the following day on February 25th, 2020, to recommend the presiding family court judge the termination of the biological parents' parental rights for sibling 1 and sibling 2. That's and sibling 4.
Four.
So it's Ariel, big sis, and then the middle
Yeah.
sis.
Yeah.
And further recommendation that these children be adopted by the Kalua defendants. Upon information and belief, this recommendation was approved and endorsed by defendants Catholic Charities in the home studies that the defendant Catholic Charities prepared and or contributed to. Shortly after the report from sibling one's teacher was made to DHS, the Kalua defendants elected to homeschooling sibling one. Thereafter, sibling one's teachers were no longer able to observe her appearance or demeanor. This was another factor suspicious for child abuse that was overlooked by defendants, um, DHS, the Hawaii, and Catholic Charities.
Which gets me totally. Isn't it interesting how the moment there is school getting involved? I mean, to me, that hand in hand is an alert right there. That the moment the school starts complaining is the moment, oh, she doesn't need to go to school there. We'll homeschool her. I'd love to see what their thought of homeschooling was, too. So,
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't much of anything. You know what
mm,
I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
So,
during subsequent investigation by the Honolulu Police Department, a video surveillance system. Wait, did I skip?
I think you did. Number 26, I think, is next. Oh, wait. No, you just did that.
Yeah.
Is it
Okay, wait.
27, 28?
So
January 26
January 26, 2021,
was
the
adoption.
family court, at recommendation of the defendants, allowed the Kalua defendants to adopt siblings 1, 2, and 4. On September 13th of 2021, the Kalua defendants reported sibling 1 missing, stating the last time she had been seen was at bedtime the night before. She was never seen again. They also had said that she was wearing shoes, and that's where
Shoes.
my suspicion with people
Yeah.
saying that their kids wearing
Go
shoes
to
in the
sleep with
middle of the
shoes.
night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Them,
Especially in
the West
Hawaii where we
Boys.
don't wear shoes. I mean,
Mhm.
you literally don't wear shoes in your house if you live in Hawaii. So, yeah, that got me
Oh,
too.
that's really suspicious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a anywhere. Actually, you go anywhere, you walk into someone's house during a party.
You just take them
There's
off.
literally like I've been at graduation parties with 50 pairs of shoes all sitting outside the front door. You do
Mhm.
not wear shoes in people's houses here. So, yeah, that was one of my big alerts right there, too. Okay.
During the subsequent investigation by the Honolulu Police Department, a video surveillance system was discovered at the Klua's residence. It had been installed well prior to the reported disappearance of sibling one. HPD officers reviewed video from the surveillance system and determined that the last time sibling one was at the Kalua residence was on August 18th of 2021, 1 month prior to her being reported missing by the Kaluas. No explanation has been given by the Kalua defendants as to why Ariel does not appear on the surveillance video after August 18th, despite the Kalua's claim that Ariel first disappeared on September 13th after being put to sleep in her bedroom on September 12th, the night before her disappearance. I think one of the things with this is that freaking Lehua posted on Facebook that day. Have you seen that post? And she
I
put
think so.
something like, if your absence doesn't bother them, then they
Oh,
never
God.
cared, or something along those
Yeah,
lines. Like I
something
had to
like
find
that.
it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
And it
it's
was
been
the
so
day that
long.
she killed her. And so it's
Yep.
like, are you kidding me? Like, oh,
It
so I
was,
guess her absence wasn't bothering you at that
yeah.
point?
They also love to sit there and make comments about how, so this is where the video camera becomes so important. They always talked about how she would go outside. She'd hang out outside all the time and all. Well, where was she for that full time, for that whole month? Okay, so
Right.
I guess she didn't go outside during this time or things like that. I mean, they were so. I
Here
mean,
it is.
I want to call them stupid, but I mean, come on now. They thought they were above the system. They thought they were above everyone else, that nothing they did was going to make a difference. Well, yeah, it is. And people are
Well,
going
and
to
look how much they
stand
got
up.
away with, though. I mean, you would think
Exactly.
at some point these kids would have been taken out of their custody,
They weren't.
and they
Nope.
weren't. I just sent you a
Nope.
screenshot of that
Mm,
message she posted. If your
that's
absence doesn't bother them, your presence never meant anything. Posted August 18th. Last day Ariel was seen. We don't know what time of day it was posted. I wish I did.
yeah, that would be great. Yeah, exactly. I'm pulling it up. It's nuts. Just pull it up. Sorry. Okay, here we go.
Oh, sorry, your computer. I forgot.
Uh, actually, I have to pull this down to share it. One sec.
Oh, yep.
I just realized that. And you know what I'm noticing? I can't choose screenshots on StreamYard. I have to use my buttons on my keyboard, and then it works. So there you go. August 18th, the day. If your absence doesn't bother them, your presence never meant anything. That is, and get this, Sunny. Oh, no, no, that was there. I mean, all these people who do this. So it makes you wonder when you are liking, okay, comments. Okay, people probably had no idea what was behind this, and we know damn well.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you got it. Let me pull this up now again for you. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
So HPD officers found that Isaac Kalua had called in sick with his employer due to COVID between August 21st and September 7th. November 5th of 2021, sibling 2, which is Big Sis, was interviewed by HPD detective Allen. Upon information and belief, sibling 2 related to detective Allen that the Kalua defendants commonly kept sibling 1 in a dog kennel in the bathroom with duct tape over her mouth and nose. According to Big Sis, the reason for this was because the Kaluas did not always feed Ariel, and she would sometimes sneak into the kitchen refrigerator to find food. Big Sis also indicated that Ariel died in the bathroom approximately 2 months before the interview, and that defendant Isaac never had COVID. Instead, defendant Isaac lied about having COVID to take time off from work to dispose of Ariel's body. Subsequent to the investigation by HPD, the Clua defendants were arrested and charged with the murder of Ariel. Trial on the criminal charges is pending. It is upon information and belief that siblings 2, 4, and 5, the baby, we're talking, so at the time of Ariel's disappearance, I believe their ages were, I want to say 11.
Yeah, it was
Let's see.
11 or 12.
Well, yeah, is it up at the top there, huh?
10.
Their date of
Oh
births.
wait, yeah, they were. You're right. It was. Let's see. So
So sibling 5 was born in 2020.
yeah,
We're talking you're abusing and sexually abusing a baby who was born in 2020. Sibling 4, 2018.
okay, talking 3.5, 4 years old.
Yeah. I mean, that's now would be their age. Junior, 2018. So
Mm-hmm.
we're talking 2021, she would have been 2
Two.
and a baby?
Yep.
I
18,
just I
19,
can't.
19, 20, 20,
And then
21. Yeah.
and then Big
Two to
Sis
three. Yep.
is sick. Like, these people are sick.
They kept getting away with things, and they kept getting away. And this is the problem. People keep getting away. And you know what? They're not getting away anymore. Like
Right,
they've ruined how many freaking lives. There is a reason why, if this little one had DID, okay, God knows what the rest of a child who's okay, a baby or 2 years old is dealing with right now.
right. I don't know, Laurel. It's sickening. And these are babies that they adopted that they were supposed to love.
Um,
They were supposed to be rescuing these children and having a good, happy, healthy loving home to make them feel something that they did feel in their biological family's home.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the drugs and stuff, right? I'm not saying that
Yeah.
a
Oh,
drug house is safe.
no,
I'm not
it
saying
isn't.
that at all. But
But
is it
it's
safer
better.
than this? I
You got
mean,
to do
this
risk benefit. Yeah.
right.
Mm.
It's not
No.
okay. It's sickening. It's sickening to me. And so, somebody had asked earlier, where are the siblings now, right?
Yeah.
They're separated. They are not all together. And that to me is
It's,
just an additional way that
yeah.
they are abusing these kids in this system.
Yeah. Exactly. And let me ask you, are family willing to take them?
So, yes, yeah, there are family members. Part of the
Oh,
problem was sibling 2 and sibling 4 went to one of the family members
right.
shortly after this, and that family member sent them back.
I
And
remember
so
that.
then they got separated. Sibling 5, I'm pretty sure sibling 5 just recently had the parental rights terminated and was adopted by someone. Um,
And
but
family is important. Ohana's
right,
important. Your siblings are important, not only just as blood, but for surviving, for dealing and healing and stuff like that. Okay, to know that, what I said got people said, okay, fine. Even if they're not going to live with each other, they need to have that relationship with each other.
I agree.
Okay, that's where my issue, and I don't know. I don't know if they have that or not. I
I
honestly
don't know
don't.
either, and
Right.
I can't even pretend to
So,
know if they do or not. I
right.
wish I don't know if Hawaii has sibling rights, but that's one of the things that Blair and Jonathan Miller are fighting for because of harmony, to make
Right.
sure that siblings always have the right to each other, no matter whose home they end up
Good
with.
question. Right. That's a good question. Whether we have that here, I honestly don't know. And honestly, where they are and stuff like that right now, that's their what matters to them. Okay, we don't have the right to all the info. We want to know because we care about them. We care about what happened to them and what happened to their sister, and
Right,
but we just hope that they're happy and they're able to live their life in the best way for them.
right.
Realizing that each of them, it's going to be different, whatever that looks like. So,
Cooter
oh
G,
boy,
why did the family member do that? There's a lot behind that, that I don't think I can answer completely. There there is still family members that have fought and fought and fought because they wanted all 4 children and are still fighting. Grandma Julie was continuously fighting, but since she is on a different island, they are making it
right,
very difficult. And so because it would take the kids out of the jurisdiction and into a different area and all of these things. Um,
right,
but basically what it came down to is that original auntie thought she could handle it, I think,
right.
but the trauma was too much.
Trauma's hard when you're trying to raise. It's one of the reasons why so many, for example, even I was watching a TV show about Russia, people who adopted children from Russia, and they went through a lot of trauma and stuff, and they didn't know about it. And no
Mhm.
matter how we feel on things, it's hard to raise a child who's gone through all that. I
Right.
just looked. It looks like there was something about sibling rights and visitation that went through our Senate back in 2002. So I'm going to have to read that closer. There might be
Oh,
something
good.
with sibling rights. I'm going to
I
I'll
hope
read
there
it
is.
later. Yeah.
So LG, there are 5 kids total. Um, one of them was never within the Kalua home. One of them at birth was, given to a different family member of Ariel's mom, and, sadly, whenever all of this was going on, that child too was returned to DHS, and so sibling 3, which you don't see noted throughout this and sibling 5 um were still under the parental rights of bio mom in this situation. But I do believe that unfortunately she has finally lost her parental
Lost
rights
that.
for them because of
Okay.
not getting and I mean, I can't confirm that for sure, but
No.
that's
Yeah.
what I think has happened at this point.
Right. Exactly. Well, I
Um,
think it's hard when you know your children have been going through all this. You're dealing with all of that
right,
yourself. And the loss of control, knowing that you don't have the control over ensuring that your child is safe. How do you react to that and things like that? I don't, it had to be hard on her. Hey, Daisy
absolutely.
May. Hello,
Cooter
hello,
G,
hello.
I know exactly what you're saying. Literally, I'm not even gonna lie, whenever I first found out that she sent them back, I
Yeah.
believe I have a live stream of me flipping out
I
because,
remember
like,
that.
how dare her, like,
Yeah.
reject them after being rejected. After being rejected by mom and dad to not get clean, not take them, not deal with their stuff, being ripped away from their grandma, put into the system, and then having the people who were supposed to love and protect them and supposed to do right by them physically and sexually abuse them to make her have to carry her sister's dead body.
Patty. You know what? It upsets me because when you go and you step up and you say, I know what's been going on in this, okay, issue. This is what I know the history. I know this stuff. I want to bring this person into my house. I want to be there for them. And then you
Mhm.
turn on them. The abandonment is like 100 times worse.
Right.
Okay, at that point. And like I said with the Russia things, we had people who were turning kids back and all. But I'm like, you know what? You can't just a real parent, okay, if you give birth to a child and that child is dealing with tons and tons of emotional issues and stuff like that, you can't just drop that child off and say, you know what, you have a responsibility to that child who depends on you for everything. You're the adult, not them.
Right.
Okay, if you need help, get help. But I just, yeah, I remember when that happened and I was so pissed because you guys know me. I've wanted a kid my whole freaking life. And I'm just like these people who have the opportunity to take someone who has been through hell and to let them know that they're loved and they're cared for and shit like that. And then to go and do something like that. Mm-mm. Yeah, that one pissed me off
It was
royally at the time.
infuriating. It
Yeah.
was. And I know that, the people that I still talk to that are Ariel Zohana, they were
Mm-hmm.
infuriated. They
Yeah.
it's a lot, it should have never happened the way that it did.
Yeah.
Um, all because of location. That auntie won because of location. And then she couldn't handle it and gave them back. And meanwhile, Grandma Julie literally worked for DHS. Um, or not DHS. What do you guys call your child services? And
Human
then one
services,
auntie,
Department of
Taryn,
Human
was on my
Services.
yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Taryn, the one auntie that was on my show a lot and stuff, she has a child, um, like, counseling and things like that in her background. And so it's like, why why did
Right.
we chose? Oh, because her address was closer. Like, that's the most asinine thing to do to children who
Yeah.
have already been abused and already dealt with such horrible stuff. Like, how could you not pick the best person, but you picked the
Oh, yeah.
closest person?
Well,
Like, way to
Department of
continue to
Human
fail them.
Services. Yeah. First of all, Department of Human Services fails them by putting them into this house. Whether or
Right,
not the family wanted the first child to go there or not, I don't care. You've got all of these facts to back up that this is not necessarily the safest place for a child to be. Okay. And then once that turns out to be a disaster and a child loses their life over it, then what do you do again? You go and do what's easy rather than what's right.
yep,
And yeah.
yeah,
Mm-mm. Love you,
but
Welchie.
this is gonna be a real triggering case, guys. This
Yes.
is and,
Yeah.
it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning of things. They have tried to pass Ariel's law now, and things like that, and, It didn't get
Yep.
approved.
Yep.
But we're gonna keep pushing every single time that stuff comes up, every single time that the family
Yep.
starts to push and has movement, we will help to put that out there.
Yep.
I
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not gonna I harped on her case, what, like 3 months? I did nothing but Ariel 2, 3 months. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go back to doing that because I do know that
Yeah.
there is so many other cases and things like that, but I will continue to push whenever there is new news.
Yeah. And
To
yeah.
people in here that are my mods, I apologize because you're probably gonna read through this again with me in a couple days, and,
No, that's it. That's it. But this is important because
it
these
is.
kids deserve justice. And is it hard for us to talk about? Is it hard for us to listen to? Hell yeah. But it was nothing compared to what they had to go through. And we'll be there for them for justice. Like you said, you're going to go through this whole thing again. Okay. And that's, like I told you, it's great because more people need to know this story.
Absolutely.
And I know you
People
can get
need to
it
get
out there.
pissed. They need
Yeah.
to get
They
pissed.
need to get
You can get it
pissed.
out there too. You're local. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that we can get your stuff posted so that more people in Hawaii can become aware because that's what we need. I mean, I can sit
That's,
here and I can scream to the rooftop, but if people in Maryland are upset, does it really help you? We need people in Hawaii to get lit
yeah.
back on fire again.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, that's part of the reason why, well, Maui also is hurting my heart right now, anyhow. But I
Mhm.
also know I'm touching more people from Hawaii right now. I'm getting
Right.
information out and being a connection point. But I will tell you guys right now, depending on where I am, most of you guys know a lot of the work that I do is consultant based. If I don't have a lot of work going on, I am hoping on being as much as possible. If I can get into the
The
courtroom,
court.
I've got to figure out how to do this because Hawaii does not do videos. And
Find that out
also,
for sure then. So they're not gonna have it on video.
you know what? I've never seen them do it. I checked with a few of my friends that are journalists, and there used to be an older man before COVID who would sit in because they didn't have videos before. And he would
Mhm.
sit in the big stories and he'd do notes, and the journalists would go to him at the end of the day and stuff like that. He's no longer with us.
Dang.
So I've never seen them actually do a case for public reasons. Now, I'm still going to keep asking because it would be much easier if I don't have to
I
drive
wish
into
that
town
Hawaii
every
News
day.
now could get, like, a poll camera in there because that's what
Oh, that would be great.
so, like, them or Court TV or whoever, that's what they usually do is they'll get a poll camera, but it's just, is there a law that doesn't allow it in
Right,
Hawaii is my
right.
question. That's
And
like a
I
phone.
haven't been able to track a law down per se, but
Mhm,
I've never seen Hawaii tends to be behind the mainland on a lot of things. In fact, we
yeah.
used to joke when I was in high school that whatever the fashion was for you guys on the mainland 2 years ago would be the fashion now in Hawaii. It's a
It
little
just
better
takes
now.
shipping longer, that's why.
That's it. That's all. So, but yeah, no, it's really we'll see how it goes because we do need this is another one of those cases just like Gabriel Fernandez. Okay, that and it's even like with Maui right now. Things failed. That's fine. Is it fine that people have lost their life over it? No. But things like that happen. It's what we do with it. How do we fix it so this stuff doesn't happen ever again? Okay,
It's
whether it
yeah,
be infrastructure or
right,
DHS or whatever, how do we prevent stuff from happening where people continue to lose lives over stuff like this? That's
exactly.
so,
Accountability and then
yep,
change. You know
yep.
what I mean? Accountability and change. I still think that her worker should have been more than just fired.
Oh, I agree. I agree. In fact, I'm kind of frustrated that they did not name her in this lawsuit.
Yeah.
I really am kind of frustrated that she was not named in
You
this
should have
lawsuit.
seen like and I'm so I know that you were aware that we had DHS workers commenting in the Facebook group and
Yeah.
things like that, right? You
Yeah.
should have seen the messages that that worker was sending people on Instagram, not through Facebook, but on Instagram where her
Instagram.
case that's the only reason that I have an Instagram account, you guys. So anybody who follows me on Instagram, I apologize, but
I'm
but
just
I
saying.
got it because Ariel was so big on Instagram. That's where everybody
Yeah.
wanted me to post everything. And
Right, right.
so, like, apparently that's like you guys' social media platform out there. But
Yeah.
but so the she the caseworker was sending Ghost Protocol?
Mm-hmm.
She was
Oh yeah.
sending Ghost Protocol all kinds of like horrific, horrible
Oh my
messages.
God.
And
See,
it was
and
like, "What
that's
are you doing, woman? Like,
yeah.
stop."
Well, and that's when you see someone who's doing stuff like that, what's happening behind the scenes? Is there
Mhm.
threatening going on behind the scenes? Oh, well, I know something that your auntie did, so I'm going to go report that. If you say anything about this, I'm going to go report that. You know damn well that's happening. And that's where we have to say, I don't care. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. I mean, that's how I've always felt about long term care. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. It may hurt, okay, being truthful and honest, but ethics state that. And that's
Right.
what we need to fall back on. Um, but yeah, no, I'm really frustrated with this because we've got, again, organizations showing blame, but no one on a personal level taking responsibility for this. And at some point, it's not just organizational, it's people that need to be held responsible. And I know it's hard because I've been involved in things before. Okay, and you're like, wait. There's so much more to this picture than what you're seeing. But in this case, there's no reason why this little girl and her sisters were in that house. No reason whatsoever why they should have been in there. If you go literally, I had to go there and put these dates here as a banner because as we were going through that whole thing, I needed to know what was before and what was after. It threw me for a loop that they knew that this girl may have had something like DID and she wasn't getting any therapy. So, yeah, it's frustrating. Okay, Crochet, these kinds of tragedies make me want to save every child in the world. Well, I'm bad. Yeah. And by the way, K Crochet, my heart's with you too. I know it's a hard one when you want a kiddo and then you're getting older and you know that's probably never going to happen. It's a hard one. So, love you, my dear. So, yep, these poor babies. But you know what? We speak up for them and we come up with ideas and we push in our communities. Each legislative season, take a look at what's going through in your legislator. Okay, talk to your legislators because if they know who you are, okay, they're going to be much more open to speaking up for you than if you all of a sudden pop up to them right before elections and say, by the way, I want you to fight for this, this, and this. Okay, but if you already have that relationship with them, it makes a difference. So,
Right.
anyhow, any last minute thoughts? And I'll, yep, be their voice. Be their voice because unfortunately, a
And if
child
you're
needs us.
gonna
So,
talk to your legislators, don't do what my husband did. We went and we met the House of Representatives guy from our area, our local rep, and he's like, "You're much shorter in person than I thought you were gonna be." And I'm like, "That's probably not the way to start this conversation." Like,
oh my gosh! Oh my. Well, it's kind of funny because like Josh Green, our governor, everyone's been seeing him. He literally, I've kind of known him on a family level since before he was governor. My
mhm,
dad used to work with him. And also, you get to know people, and you know what? It's sometimes nice to have those friendships because later on you can go and say to them, I really like right now, the silver alert business is driving me crazy here in Hawaii.
yeah,
Okay, right now I blame myself because I'm not getting a fire under my butt and going and talking to Gene Ward or someone like that. But find out how many of us here know who our local representative is on the city council. My
mm,
guess is saying most of us don't.
right.
And but yeah, so something to take a look at. So anyhow, any last minute? We've been here for an hour and 34 minutes. Any last minute thoughts you had, my dear?
No, not at all. Just please, guys, hit the like button. Get this out there as much as we can so that people can see Ariel's story. This is an example of things that should never happen. Never.
Yeah,
And the only way that you can stop stuff like this from happening is for awareness to get spread so that we know what issues need to be fixed. This is an issue in
Mhm.
Hawaii, but it's also an issue
It's everywhere.
everywhere. This
Everywhere.
could happen to children in your area too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we had Gabrielle. Okay, this is not much different. Okay, other than the fact, okay, you're talking about a mom and a stepfather, okay, ex-boyfriend, or boyfriend, versus here you got adoptive parents. Hello, grateful middle-aged cat mountain. And but yeah, the more we share this out, yes, as this news is coming out and we're starting to hear just how horrible it is, I hope people will start recognizing the need for justice for her and the need for change. Because we all know horrible stories seem to be what people grab onto. There's just something about that. They're like, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. And we start talking about it. We make the movies about it. We make all those things about it. But you know what? She can make a difference still. Ariel is still going to make a difference. She may not be with us anymore, but she's going to make a difference. And hopefully it's going to be here in Hawaii. If not, it's going to be on the mainland, but she
Right?
will. So, and also,
How old were the foster parents? Grateful middle-aged cat asked. Sorry, before you say goodbye. Lehuo was 43 and Sunny was 52. So, okay. Bye,
you
everyone.
think old means good. You think old means good, not necessarily. And
Right?
also, and they didn't have children of their own, which is not a thing. I've never had children. Okay. And Kay Crochet has not had kids, but I bet you anything Kay Crochet would make a wonderful mother. Okay. I will say for myself, I'm sure I would make a great mom, but not everyone. Okay. In this case, the clue was nope, not at all. So, anyhow, love you guys tons and tons and tons. I will see, well, I won't see you Friday because I'm going to be at Made in Hawaii. But please check out Sleuth Mom when she talks about this. Please hit the thumbs up here. Please help share this out. And I will, if I don't catch Sleuth when she goes live about this, I'll have to leave some comments in chat afterwards. So thank you again, Sleuth, and I will see y'all later. Aloha, mahalo, love you guys.